I've been at work today. It's been quite a hot day. It's going to be another hot day tomorrow, hence the camping out in the back garden. So I'm just settling down. I'm just going to have a brew, hot chocolate, and I've got my breakfast here as well, which is a vegetarian all-day breakfast. I'll get that in the morning. Maybe with a cup of coffee, we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to start it. I've got some hand sanitizer here, and I'm going to see if that will do as a fuel. Should do, shouldn't it? Put a bit in there. And we'll see if we can light it. There we go, it's lit. You probably can't see it, but it is lit. I can see it. So that's just hand sanitizer gel. Now, I won't make a habit of that because it came from work, but I just wanted to test whether it did work or not. And it does work. It burns very cleanly. Right, we're on a little bit of a slope here because we're a bit pushed for time. Cocoa-based beverage powder. To prepare a hot chocolate drink, please mix with 500 millilitres of hot 80 degrees C water and stir. Right, anyway, there's not much else to report, so I'll close it down for now. And what the plan is tomorrow morning is we go and have a look at the three main cereal crops in the UK. That's the intention anyway. Oats, wheat and barley. What the difference is between those three crops. So I've got, I'll just show you this. Somebody chucked that out. So I got it for the dog. The dog's not going to stay in it, is she? Come here. Come here. Get in there. Get in there. Yeah, she's not going to stay in there. But anyway, someone chucked it out, so I brought it home. Right, well, we're definitely losing the light now, so it's going to lose focus and be very grainy. So, and I'll be turning in as soon as I've had this. So I'll catch you in the morning and we'll see what we can see in the fields regarding the difference between the three main cereal crops we grow in the UK. Just to identify wheat, barley and oats. Geese flying over. last year this was wheat, but this year it has been planted with barley. And barley is... Will you come out of there? Come out of there! Barley is fairly similar to wheat, but it has these long stalks coming out of the tips of the seed pods with little fine hairs on them, so you can run up in one direction but you can't go down in the other. It's got a lot of weed mixed in with it, and also as well the much taller stalks you see standing proud of the barley are the oats, but I'm not sure whether these are not wild oats because they don't look very substantial seed pods. But I think these are the only oats we're going to see. But I don't think we've got oats this year round here. But this is the oats. So this is entirely different to the wheat and the barley that we've just seen. So we'll take some oats, some wheat and some barley home with us, and we'll have a closer look when we get home. Right, well, me and the dog had a reasonable night. We've been out and we've got some supplies, and I've got oats, wheat and barley, which we'll have a look at them in a minute. But last night I'm just finishing off the rest of that hand sanitizer just as the test to see whether it works as a fuel or not, which obviously it does because we've used it the once. And I've got this alight now. In the daylight we can't see the flame, so I'm just putting my all day breakfast on. So it's just a boil in the bag affair. I'm just going to crack it open just a little bit, just so as it doesn't blow up like a balloon. Get it in there, put the lid on. I suppose that's one advantage with the heavy cover, isn't it? It keeps it in there. And then we'll have a look at this. I'll break it up a bit and I'll put it down so you can see it a bit better. Right, so this is not meant to be an in-depth look at the grass cereals that we grow in the UK, or the three main ones anyway. It's just a quick identification of the three main ones. So I'll start by laying the three different ones out. And what we've got is oats there. So that one's oats. Then we've got barley there with its long spines, and I don't know all the correct terminology. It's long spines coming from the tips of the grains, the husks. And then we've got probably the most important one, which is wheat, which looks very similar to the barley, but it doesn't have them pronounced spines. It does have little spikes or spikelets coming up from the husks, but nothing like the spines of the barley. And you've also got to remember that there are different types of oats, different types of barley, and different types of wheat grown for different reasons. And there are sort of double-spined barley as well. And these crops have been cultivated for about since Neolithic times, which is about 10 or 12,000 years ago. People started actually farming grasses, and we use them for different reasons. Probably the most widely grown and widely used grain is the wheat, which we use basically to make flour, to do most of or a lot of the baking with. And you get different grains with different quantities of gluten in them. More gluten makes better bread, but of course some people are allergic or can't process gluten, so that's a big thing today. The barley, the main use of the barley is probably in the brewing industry, because I think it has less gluten or less protein, so more sugars, so the sugars can be turned to alcohol, and it's used for the fermenting of beer and whiskey, and probably nowadays it's used for probably making that hand gel and fuel for engines. And then we've got the oats, which we all know you make porridge out of oats, and what they do is they get the seed and they just roll it or effectively crush it, and you can also get oatmeal sort of flour, which biscuits are made out of, and you can get an oat milk as well, so they crush it and get the milk out of it. So that's essentially the three grass cereals that we grow in the UK. Now I've collected these for a while, and I've got a field at the moment which I may have slipped into this video, where it's been sold to the developers and there's just self-seeded wheat in it, so I'll be getting a bit of this year. And the reason I like the wheat is because it breaks up very easily, and I've got a video on threshing and winnowing the wheat at home with just basic tools, and this breaks up very easily, and you can separate the husk from the grain, and the grain comes off very cleanly, and then I can put that through a small mill, turn it into flour. Whereas the barley, you can break that up, but the husk is it's a very hard husk, and I can't effectively take the husks off the barley, so I don't really bother with that. Well, I didn't know that until last year, so all this is learning. So I'll add at the end of this video the process of the link to the video where I processed the wheat and turned it into flour, and you can see how really, especially when it's very dry, how easily it cleans up and is ready for milling. So I'll get back to the most important thing then, which is my breakfast, because this is now boiled and gone out, and so I can get my all day breakfast. a bit hot. It's a bit hot to hold. That's better. Sausages, I'll leave that sausage for the dog. I have to leave it to cool down a bit. Get out of it, get out of it. Yeah, sorry, you can have the rest of it. It's down a minute. I'm getting it all over the place because the spoon's too sharp. And your nostrils. Yeah, it's a bean right in the corner. Yeah, Mr. Bean.